Most of the saguaro cactus are 35 to 40 feet, which is a 3 to 4 story building. It's about as tall. They can get taller, but usually they top out right about there. Most of them in this district, when they're about 55 or 60 years old, they'll put on their first flowers. At about 75 years, they'll put out their first arm. Maybe in 150 years, they'll be at their full height with as many arms as they're going to have. And then around 200 years is when we would expect the old cactus to start showing signs of mortality. When May is when we would start to see those big flowers. Those flowers then get pollinated by bats and birds and bees. In July or so is when we'll start to see those flowers close up and turn into that egg-shaped fruit. Very similar in style to what we see in the prickly pear, except that when it's ripe, it'll burst open and it looks like a 4-petaled bright red flower with the ball of fruit kind of sitting in the center of it. The seeds themselves are very tiny. I mean, they're very tiny. They look like grains of pepper is how big the seed is. It's very, very tiny. And not even like a whole peppercorn, like when you grind pepper. Each of these will maybe put out a couple thousand seeds. If one of them even germinates, that's a very lucky seed. And then beyond that, all of the conditions have to be perfect in order for a saguaro seedling to live. If you think about water, when we do get rain here, it's unusual for it to rain for more than a day, day and a half. Really, most of those rains are only a couple of hours long. So when the rain hits the ground, that absorbs in, it only absorbs down a couple of inches before it starts to pull out by the sun again. They may be shallow, but there's an immense network that's under our feet, and they can go out as far as they are tall. So we are easily standing on these two big guys' roots. Saguaro National Park is located in Tucson, Arizona. This park is actually one of the few in the United States National Park System that was set aside specifically for science. People wanted to understand this environment and understand this species, and so that was part of our enabling legislation in 1933. Everything in the national park is protected, so we don't allow harvesting or collecting of any materials that are here in the park, and that goes for cactus,